welcome. Today I will be discussing the underperformance of Starbucks and the reshaping of their company as a whole. Let's get started. So, what is Starbucks? So, as most people know, Starbucks is a globally recognized coffee brand that spreads across the globe. They are known for their carefully mixed coffees and teas while also having values such as inclusivity for all and a sense of community, as well as ethically sourcing their products. This place is being known for a place that people of all walks of life can go grab a quick drink or providing a comforting environment to do some homework or have a business meeting. It is known for having great customer service. So, with that, our problem we're seeing within the Starbucks company is people management. This is not pertaining to customer satisfaction, but the satisfaction of the employees, such as baristas, and I'll be referring to the baristas as employees from here on out. There is continued evidence of poor scheduling, labor disputes, and unionization problems at a lot of stores, and this causes Starbucks' reputation on being a great place to work now go down the drain because people are dreading to apply. So some of the ramifications that we need to include here for this underperformance is dissatisfaction with the employees. They are one of the key backbones of the Starbucks company, and as said by Griffin et al. 2019, communities of practice are groups of people who share expertise and interest in a joint enterprise informally binding them together. So these groups are the baristas, all sharing the same experiences, expertise, and treatment at their stores. It's not just one, it is multiple people, many different stores. And all of these problems are beginning to garner negative perceptions by the communities and breaking down their reputation for the future. All of these things, it includes like lowering employee morale, increasing turnover and quitting, and just negative attention on media and social media, which is ultimately negatively affecting the reputation Starbucks has spent years building up. So, going into organizational structure, design, and culture. As explained by Mention 2024, between 2021 and 2023, more than 360 Starbucks stores have unionized, most through independent worker action. So, most of the Starbucks structure is based off of a functional organizational structure, leading baristas to work with other baristas, marketing to work with marketing, and the like. And this leads to a separation at the higher level to the lower level. And the design here shows that Starbucks is highly controlled. So devaluing the ideas and opinions of the employees since they have no say here, this can lead to the mistreatment of employees, such as unpredictable work shifts, etc. And then lastly, we have our organizational culture. So although Starbucks is known for a culture of respect and inclusivity, there is a growing disconnect between corporate and the employees. There is so much inconsistency and a lack of proper labor practices that even the biggest part of the community here is a resistance to unionization. The company does not want the employees to unionize, showing that the company values other things more than their employees. So like we said, with the structure, the separation causes problems. The design, it's highly controlled from when they first start to even delivery of their materials. It's always very certain and has a specific way to do it, super controlled. And there's just too much rigidity there. And then lastly, with the culture, this disconnect between the corporate and employees, it just leads to proper labor practices, and there's a lot of inconsistency, which leads to employees not trusting any of their corporate higher-ups. So when we talk about conscious culture, it's going to be a combination of things. So we've talked about it before. Conscious culture is valuing employees and thinking of them more than just employees in the company, and understanding that everybody comes from different backgrounds. They all have different cultures they bring to their jobs, and that there should always be an open communication between the managers and the employees. So conscious culture is important in any company. It's understanding a employee's mental stability and valuing all these differences to build the company up. So Starbucks does excel in certain areas such as inclusivity, like they hire people from all different backgrounds and orientations, etc. They have outreach programs where they build communities and community bonds by contributing to these outreach programs. And they are ethical. They use only ethical sourced materials and products to lessen the environmental impact. So this is where we have to look where Starbucks falls a bit short in such areas like anti-union. They don't agree with the unionization of employees in the stores. And they also have been known to retaliate against employees who are pro-union. And it, like I said, leads to a disconnect between the employees and the higher ups because of this. And then lastly, there's a failure to listen. And they claim to listen to their employees and they value the voices of them, but they don't listen to the complaints that they are hearing, choosing rather to ignore them. And many of the managers and higher ups have no idea what are happening in the stores. So we have to go over to Kotter's 8-step plan. So referring to Gali 2018, within Kotter's 8-step model, he talks about leadership must encourage their companies to change or they will not be able to sustain their company within the world and this economy. So this model, as shown in the picture, is a continuous cycle when it comes to change. It starts with creating a sense of urgency, showing a problem, and then guiding a change with a specific vision. A group is supposed to lead this, and it starts by producing actions and short-term wins for encouragement within the company. And then finally, it sustains this gradual buildup and has fully instituted the change. So here, as we see, are different 8 steps. So with Starbucks, how we're going to implement Kotter's 8-step plan is we are going to start with a public statement. This is creating the sense of urgency. This is making sure to get ahead of the negative media and making sure that we understand we have unhappy employees. We use the employee stories that they have to get support from the community and the people. Then we have our guiding coalition. So that is creating a team that consists of employees from different areas of expertise like baristas, managers, HR representatives, etc. They are going to be the face of the movement/change here. Then we're going to start using their ideas and our employee ideas to develop a vision. What do we want in the company to change? What are we trying to do here? So that's going to begin with looking at the scheduling problems, conflict resolution, and starting to open up the communication between all employees. Then we're going to do just that, communicate. We're going to communicate through various channels. So that's going to be emails, messages, in-person meetings within the stores. And we're all going to talk about these ideas and this vision that we have to make sure that it really hits with all the employees. So with that as well, we're wanting to make it feel personal. We're wanting to make it feel like we show care for the employees because we do. And we're going to continually update the employees throughout this change so they feel like they are a part of the change as well. Then we're going to start empowering our employees. So next is we're going to start removing and fixing those scheduling problems. We're not just saying we're going to do it, we are going to do it. We're going to create mental health resource groups, recognizing the hard workers that we have, and positively reinforcing employees to speak up because right now they don't feel like they have a voice. And then we're going to show our short-term wins. This shows a change is slow but encourages people to keep going. The change is still moving, such as we're going to start in putting in these policies into tester stores, around 40 to 50 stores, and we're going to start boosting our morale through celebration, showing that we care and we care about these stores and how well you guys are doing. And then we're going to recognize our hardworking teams, the teams that are introducing the change and showing that they care and want the change to happen. We're going to celebrate those people. Then we're going to have to sustain our acceleration. From these stores and employees that we are implementing these changes in, we are going to start bringing it to more stores, even all stores, and continue to gather feedback about these programs and seeing what we can do to even make it more successful. And then finally, we're going to institute the changes in the routes and policies of the Starbucks. We're going to make sure that the framework is weaved with these different policies, incorporating this conscious capitalism like management principles and also reporting the data that we've gathered from turnover and workplace attitudes. So, like we said, instituting change is not always easy. There will be challenges faced from every direction. So mostly we're going to see some challenges from upper management and their ideas of the anti-unionization. There might even be some managers in certain stores that prefer the old way of doing things, like not wanting employees to have more power than them or feeling like they are not equals. And then even there are going to be some employees that are going to challenge this. They're going to be against the change because they think the change is temporary. So to make sure we are addressing these challenges, we are going to make sure there is more open communication and these exchanges of ideas between all levels of employment, that's managers, upper management, and baristas. There will be implementing programs like training and recognition for those who guide the change, as well as positive ongoing reinforcement. We want to make sure that these early wins we have is showing that the change is working and showing everyone that change is possible. Then we have our subsystems realignment. So the subsystems with this change will need to be realigned to match our change model. We can't just start changing things but not changing the little things. So employees will need to make sure they're seen, heard, and ultimately respected by others. This is going to involve HR. We're going to standardize our policies and our workloads. We're going to offer some development for our leaders, and we're going to train. We're going to include conscious leadership and conflict resolution trainings. There's going to be a two-way communication system here. We're going to have onboarding for all new employees. We're also going to be tracking our data here. We're wanting to make sure we're tracking turnover, employee satisfaction, and engagement, and we're going to publish our KPIs and store success data to show everybody this is how we're doing. And then for culture, we're going to promote and publicly recognize these managers and leaders who empower and foster empathy within our stores and reward stores themselves for their work and workplace culture. So with these things, updating policies, retaining positive leaders, and making sure the well-being of employees is taken into account to help, without these realignments, change will not last in the long run. So we need to make sure you are realigning our subsystems. So some lessons we need to have learned from this is best said by Shook and Sweet 2019. No matter who or where they are, if people feel a sense of belonging and are valued by their employee for their unique contributions, perspectives, and circumstances, they will be empowered to innovate more. Employees need to feel important and be valued, or this company will crumble. They should not be ignored. Taking this into account, remembering that feedback also isn't always negative. It is a catalyst for change. And then lastly, top-down management might work for some companies but might not work for every company. Making sure that we are implementing a culture that will last and sustain is the most important for improvement and sustaining a positive work environment. So as a manager, it is important to prioritize these such things like open communication lines, having a fair system for wages and scheduling, and showing the shared leadership throughout the stores. This will cause Starbucks to ultimately grow in the long run and have satisfaction throughout the company. All right, references. Thank you for listening.